Traders, super excited you guys are here today. In this video, we're going to be talking about why I'm no longer day trading low float stocks. I ain't even going to touch them. Not going to touch them. Why is that? Well, let's find out. I will admit, when I first started trading, I started with the low floaters, and those have been some of my biggest wins on the low float stocks just because they can fluctuate and move so quickly. But in my journey, I had to realize, do I want to make consistent money or do I want to just hit home runs but, not be consistent at all with my trading? See, gamblers seek excitement. Traders just want to make money. Professional day traders, they're more interested in making money versus a dopamine rush. And that's where a lot of the low float stuff is. It's like fast dopamine rush. And when I first got into trading, what did we all learn? We all initially learned what? Trade the low floaters and trade the breakouts. So that's all I was focusing on. Breakouts, breakouts, breakouts. Well, if you take a look at this chart, this is a breakout. And this is where I'd be buying, right at the top. And then I get dumped on. And then I turn into a deer in headlights, just like this one right here. And that was not fun. Especially when you don't understand risk management, and no one does when they first start trading. And so you learn buy the breakout, and then you buy all these breakouts on these low float penny stocks, and they're so heavily manipulated, and these patterns don't work a lot of the time. A lot of times they're like 50-50 if they even do work. There's so many fake out breakouts. It just leaves you like a deer in headlights in a state of paralysis, and you end up just holding and hoping, and you'll turn into a long-term investor. That's what happened to me, unfortunately, more times than I like to admit. And so at that point I said, well, I can't trade the breakouts anymore, so I made a rule, no more buying breakouts. Okay, so then what do you do with penny stocks? Maybe buy the dip, but there's got to be good volume there to do that, and oftentimes these things just pump and dump, just like this stock right here. They just go straight up and straight down. They're not reliable. They're not companies that you'd want to be, nobody'd really want to be, being a long-term investor with. So the only people really buying them are momentum day traders. And so these momentum day traders come in and they're just looking for intraday trades, just looking to make a quick buck here intraday. And if everybody's doing that, that's what causes them to go straight up and straight down. You've all heard it with these low floaters. The lower the float, the higher the demand, the bigger the rip, as low of a float as they can be sometimes. Like DRYS, for example, this was 1 million in the float. I'll pull up a chart here of DRYS. This thing went straight up from like a few bucks to over 100, but then straight back down. So sometimes it works, and it works very well. Shorts get in early and they get squeezed out. But you just have to understand what you're getting yourself into, because number one, you just got to understand what you're getting yourself into, because there's a lot of chat rooms out there and they're mostly just interested in these lower float stocks. Now you have to ask yourself the question, why are all these chat rooms focused just on low float penny stocks? And it became very apparent to me, why is that? And it's because with a lot of sheep in the chat room, and if you get in first, let's say one of these chat rooms, these guys get in before the rest of the sheep, and they say, okay, I'm in this at such and such a price. Well, the stream's 10 seconds delayed, so they got in 10 seconds ago. Everyone else is getting in. You're getting in at the top. And what I found with low float stocks is I was oftentimes just kind of following the leader, or I'd be trying to predict volume, predict which chat room's going to do what, because you need to be reactive when you're trading. That's something that took me a while to figure out. Not just trying to predict, because predicting oftentimes leads to losses. And I know for most guys out there that initially, get into trading, what they're going to do is join a chat room and they're going to focus on the gappers, and they're going to focus on, is it a low float and does it have a catalyst? Those are the three variables that most new traders, when they join a chat room, they're going to be looking at, because that's what their guru is looking at. And you just got to be mindful of, why is your guru doing this? Why does he want you buying these stocks? Because oftentimes they're not reputable. So, for instance, I'd be trading one of these stocks that was gapping up, had a catalyst, it was a low float penny stock, and I'd jump in at PreMarket. Oh, I'm good to go, getting in this thing early. And then before I know it, the thing comes out with an offering. And then the stock tanks, and I'm left like a deer in headlights again. And why do these companies come out with secondary offerings? Well, That's not a very bullish sign to come out with a secondary offering. The initial public offering is supposed to be the one and only. You know, these are the shares for the public and that's it. But if the company has to raise more capital through a secondary offering, they're not doing well financially. They may have to raise capital to pay their employees. You know, it's never a good sign. The stocks always do terrible. And I get caught in one of those in pre-market. So I'm like, well, I can't trade pre-market anymore because, you know, it's so hard to manage risk in pre-market when stocks are very illiquid. So I got a rule. I can't trade pre-market. I got a rule. I can't buy breakouts. And I need to stop predicting, you know, price action and just react. So what am I left with? You know, because when I was trading, I'd have many different chat rooms all pulled up because that's how I would succeed, is just finding out what they're telling their sheep and try to get in before them. And it wasn't trading. It was not trading at all. And finally, eventually, I met my mentor who's been trading independently for a very long time, and it's possible. And he showed me the ropes with mid caps, with large caps, and it's so much more easier than Pennyland. It's not just all momentum day traders coming in, pushing something on up, and then it tanks, and then you go up to heaven, you go down to hell, all in a matter of minutes. A couple circuit breaker halts as well on the way up, and then a few circuit breaker halts on the way down. I found a lot more consistency. Now, have I been having my biggest wins trading these? No. I had some big wins trading the low floaters because in a matter of minutes, I could be up $1,000. Just like that. But in the matter of seconds, I could be down $1,000. So this is why I will no longer trade the low float penny stocks, because I had to predict so much. And then it was just a bad idea to trade in pre-market. I couldn't buy breakouts. I was trying to predict what chat room's doing what and what volume's going to come in where, what catalyst is going to be the right one to draw in all the hype right at the perfect time. Now I just react to what volume is doing in the market. If volume's coming into this stock, I'll pay attention to it. I'll pull it up. I'll look at the daily and see the range and, you know, line up all the variables after I see where volume is. And the funny thing with these mid to large cap stocks is that money can be made on both sides. Because they're not just pump and dumps by chat rooms, there's oftentimes money to be made on both sides. Some of the guys I trade with might be long, I'll be short, or vice versa, and we're all still making money because we're scaling in and the stock doesn't just go straight up, straight down. So it works like that. These are more reputable companies. But those are some of the reasons why I do not trade low float stocks. Guys, I know this is going to be, unpopular opinion, but this is where I'm at with my trading. The 90%ers are going to dislike the crap out of this video, but that's okay. Let me know your experience down in the comment section below, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you all next time.